Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 484 of NoDQ&A video, complete with crows in the background, right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift. Coming off a very eventful Raw, Daniel Bryan has officially been stripped of the WWE title and a new champion will be crowned at Money in the Bank. So, got a lot to talk about here. Let's get started with the first one today from WWE fan Dark Arrow. Hey Aaron, what did you think of Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose's mic segments on Raw? I thought they all dominated the mic and sounded like real stars. I completely agree with you. I felt that all three of them did a tremendous job. Roman Reigns didn't really say much. It was short, but he got to the point and his delivery was good. I thought Dean Ambrose was tremendous. I thought he was probably the best of the three. I really like the delivery of his promo, and he was very intense. And somebody else brought up that he sounded like the Joker in this promo, and the whole mentally unstable aspect of Ambrose's character. I think he really shines with that, and he really got a chance to showcase his mic skills on Raw. So I thought he did a terrific job. And Seth Rollins, I think that he said what needed to be said. It was a lot better than the whole SmackDown promo where he basically said nothing. This time he went out there and, he said that he was the guy that was responsible for the Shield's success and, brought up the fact that Dean Ambrose is crazy and Roman Reigns is just a big dummy or whatever. So, I think that he said what he needed to say and got himself over as the heel character. And, I felt that it was a very effective segment. So I think that they're doing a good job with the Shield so far and going in that direction. With them feuding, and they started the build up for the future with, Seth Rollins teasing a match with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, saying that he's going to go through Seth Rollins and then get Triple H or Randy Orton and then Triple H. So, they're starting to build up towards the summer and the feuds leading into SummerSlam. So, I think it was done very well overall. I got this question here now from Creature13. What did you think of Seth Rollins' new entrance music? I felt it was okay. I mean, I'm not blown away by it immediately, but maybe it'll grow on me. I do think it was better than Cesaro's entrance music. I felt that it sounded fairly generic to me, but it could have been worse, I think. I'm a little surprised that they didn't have Seth Rollins come out with the Evolution music, and I'm a little bit confused now, with the whole Evolution aspect of it. It sure seemed to me like Evolution is done at this point. Seth Rollins did reference adapting and evolving the character of Seth Rollins and the wrestler Seth Rollins. But beyond that, there was really no mention of Evolution on this show. Nobody came out to the Evolution music. Kayfabe Candy Ass brought up, why didn't Seth Rollins just come out with the Evolution music until they could come up with better music for him? I don't know. I think it's okay. I mean, I expected him to have new music, and I guess we'll see on Main Event, if he comes out with new ring attire and doesn't come out with the whole Shield getup. It appears that for the time being, the Shield is still a unit with just Reigns and Ambrose. So, Triple H said that his job was to end the Shield, and they're still around. So, a little bit of confusion. If I had to criticize how this whole storyline was handled, it would be that, what's going on with Evolution, and, I thought the Shield was broken up. So are they still together? Is there going to be a third member? What's going to happen with that? So still a lot of questions that need to be answered, and hopefully WWE will resolve all that in the coming weeks. All right, this one comes from Big Red Texan 13. Hey Aaron, do you see Daniel Bryan being like Dolph Ziggler, being champion on top and getting injured and then becoming a lower card guy? I don't think so. I think that Daniel Bryan has gotten past that level where if something happens to him, he's screwed. I think that Daniel Bryan will always be a top star in WWE. I don't know if he's ever going to be WWE champion again. I do think that he'll come back and he'll get another title opportunity and possibly a proper run as champion. I still think that that's a possibility, but will he be the flagship of WWE? Probably not. I mean, we saw what happened with Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. They won the titles, they had their runs, and then when it was over, they kind of got moved down the card a little bit. So it could end up happening with Daniel Bryan, but the fans are going to be chanting for him, and in this day and age with social media, the fans are very vocal, and WWE sometimes has no other option but to listen to the fans. I mean, when Benoit and Guerrero got pushed down the card, the crowd didn't really revolt and make a big deal out of it. But in today's WWE, we saw what happened at the Royal Rumble, how angry the fans got and how they hijacked the show. So if they keep doing stuff like that, I mean, WWE is going to have no choice but to keep Daniel Bryan at the top in WWE. All right, this one comes from Ken Carrick. Now that Daniel Bryan will be out of action for a long time, longer than WWE was hoping, do you see them doing what they did with CM Punk a few years ago and have Bryan on commentary until he is able to compete again? Keep up the good work. Probably not. I mean, with CM Punk, that was just, CM Punk is a guy that can talk really well, and with all due respect to Daniel Bryan, I don't think he's at CM Punk's level as far as talking abilities. I don't really think it's necessary to have him in some kind of non-wrestling role. I think that it's really best in this situation to just keep him off television until he's ready to come back and build him up strong for his comeback. I think that having him on TV in some kind of non-wrestling role would do more damage than help him at this point. I just think it's best that he's not around at this point and keep him away from the spotlight until it's time for him to come back and he can have his big epic return after being gone for several months and make a huge impact. I think that that's the best way to go with him. All right, this one comes from Kayfabe Candy Ass. Are the days of hoping for a Damien Sandow push finished? Probably. I think it's safe to say that at this point. I think that Damien Sandow is officially been demoted to the Chavo Guerrero / Santino Marella comedy role, or more or less the Chavo Guerrero role, where he's going to be a laughingstock every week and he's going to get beat up by the guest hosts of Raw. Next week with Kevin Hart, he'll probably get beat up by him or somebody else. So, I mean, that's where Damien Sandow is at this time in WWE, and we saw what happened with Chavo Guerrero. He never really recovered from that, and that was more or less the end of Chavo being taken seriously in WWE. And even when he went to TNA, I don't think he was fully able to shake off the end of his WWE run where he was getting his ass kicked by Hornswoggle every week. So not looking good for Damien Sandow in terms of ever being taken seriously again. And I hate to say it, but I mean, that's just the reality of the situation here in WWE. All right, this next one comes from Kevin3011. Hey Aaron, do you think NXT should have a qualifying match and the winner goes in the Money in the Bank match? I think on paper that sounds like a good idea, but the thing is, my concern is they would bring the guy in for the Money in the Bank match and then there would be no follow-up and he would just be right back in NXT. And I think that would be a mistake. We saw what happened back at the 2013 Rumble with Bo Dallas. He came in as an entrant in the Royal Rumble match, and literally nothing happened with him after that. He was back in NXT for another year and a half. So I don't want to see a repeat of that. I think if you're going to do this, you should do it right and plan on bringing the guy in as a main member of the roster and having something for him to do past the Money in the Bank match. So if they do it the right way. All right, this one comes from John Drix Romano. Hey Aaron, I was watching some old SmackDown matches back in 2007 and thought King Booker was a good heel. What do you think on Booker T's King heel run? I really enjoyed it. I was reading back on some of my old columns, my retro columns, which I've been posting on NoDQ.com/columns, by the way, so check that out. And, I said a lot of positive things about Booker T's character, and I remember just being happy that he beat Rey Mysterio and that title reign was put to pasture. And, Booker T was given a change of character. And sometimes the whole King gimmick is overdone, but I think Booker T really made it his own, and he did a tremendous job with it. And Sharmell was great as well, doing the whole "All Hail King Booker." And, I thought it was an act that really caught on, and it gave Booker T a new a new lease in WWE. It gave him something different, and it made him stand out from what he had been doing in the past. And you know, he really took advantage of the situation and really went all the way with that character. So yeah, I was definitely a big fan of it. All right, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already at NoDQ.com, or should I say YouTube.com/NoDQ&AW. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the latest regarding Money in the Bank, and I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ&A video.